For those of you who have been asking me, no, I did not participate in the Luxembourgish parliamentary elections because I have important things to do. I wanted to talk to you today about the European elections and the implications for the candidates that are running in your country. As you may know, the European elections are happening in May next year, in May 2019, and every country will then be voting for new members of the European Parliament. Now, the video today that I'm uploading is very much related to a piece I wrote for the blog Values for Europe. I write for them on a regular basis. I'll be putting a link down below so you can check that out. And so I compiled a list of questions that really try to find out, if you ask those questions to your candidate to the European Parliament, whether they support more centralization and harmonization and enlargement, or if they actually are standing for decentralization. So here's the questions that I compiled. Do you support the introduction of a digital tax inside the European Union? Do you support the general harmonization of EU corporate income tax rates? Should the European Union levy its own taxes? Should the EU become involved in areas that it currently stays out of, such as education? Do you support a European army? If yes, would it, contrary to PESCO, go beyond a mere defense cooperation and open the possibility to start wars preemptively? Do you believe in maintaining the European Council? Why should member states not be able to conduct their own trade policy? Do you believe in maintaining the compulsory requirement of adopting the euro once the convergence criteria have been met? Should the convergence criteria be extended as an accession criteria? And then lastly, should Albania, Montenegro, Serbia and or Macedonia join the European Union? So these questions are quite indicative, depending on the answers that you get, if your candidate supports more centralization, harmonization and enlargement. I think this is an essential question. You might think, okay, so most of that is about tax, and I think that actually, yes, this is important. If the European Union wants to be more centralized and do more things, it will have to, and as many supporters of a more centralized EU tell you, will have to levy its own taxes, it will have to have its own revenue. If you don't have money, you can't fund any of the political operations. For now, the member states are sending money to the EU, and many EU supporters want the EU to have its own financial means. My position is this. I believe that we need to have a more decentralized EU. I believe that the EU should do way less. Some politicians say that it should do best in the areas it can do best. I'm not quite sure which areas those are supposed to be, because so far I haven't seen anything done very well. I think that there's a general risk in having a centralized authority. I believe in localism or regionalism or whatever you want to call it. I want power, if it should exist, to be as close to the people as possible. Therefore, I'm a proponent of local governments. I believe that these questions are essential to be asked to MEP candidates because very often they escape those questions. They tell you a lot of things about their beliefs and what we should do and can't do, but they don't really give clear answers on their position between centralization and decentralization. So if you have events by your local MEPs coming up until May, I think those are questions that you really should ask. It gives you a good insight into what they believe. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this, and then see you next video. Thanks.